Good evening, everyone. It's Trish, the Purple Yarnivore, coming to you from the great state of Slushy, Iowa. How are you today? Well, I finally got this video done, or working on this video right now. Say hello to Zevo. I really gave myself way too much anxiety over the second part of the tutorial for this sweater. Really, I tend to overthink and overcomplicate things, so I'm going to make this really super easy for you. Basically, with the sleeve, okay, the sleeve, just like the two front panels and the back, it has all the same stitches. So this cardigan is made up of 4 panels: the large back panel, the 2 front panels, and the arm sleeves. Yes, we are not going to crochet starting from here. We are going to make 2 sleeve panels, okay? And what we're going to do is first, with this, you're going to turn your work the wrong side, okay? Because what we're going to do is our 2 front panels, we are going to sew them across. Now, it does not matter if you single crochet them, if you whip stitch them, if you do a mattress stitch or not. We will basically sew from the outside part here all the way across, and we will connect completely across. We're not going to cut it off here so that we can add a hood or anything like that. This cardigan, I do not intend to add buttons to it. So I will be doing this type of ribbing for it. Now, when you connect both the panels, I did one side already. You will connect both the panels, and then it will look something like this, okay? So you have your neck hole right here. And then once you sew the 2 front panels to the back panel, what you're going to do is you will lay your work flat. So let's say this panel is sewn to the back panel, okay? What you will do is you will flatten out, and you see the back panel being sewn to the front panel. Now, when you make your arm sleeve, and I'll tell you how to do that, no worries. But when you make your arm sleeve, what you will do is you will fold it in half, and like this one here, okay, I folded it in half, my sleeve, and I lined this part up with the middle of this. Okay, now you can, if you really want to be specific, you could count your stitches on either side, but I did not do that. I folded my sleeve in half, and I excuse me, I can't even talk. Okay, so this sleeve here, it was a flat panel, and I folded it in half, and I turned it, okay, and I flattened it out nice and smooth, and this part here that I sewed, I pinched it, and I lined it up with this here, with this seam, and I laid my arm sleeve flat. So let's say you have the back panel and your front panel is sewn to the back panel. What you will do, let's pretend this is the armhole here. Okay, this is your arm sleeve. I fold it in half, and I took it and I lined it up to this seam here. Now keep in mind there's a front panel here. I lined this up to the seam, and when I pinched it, okay, I lined this corner up with the seam along the top where you sewed the back panel and the front panel together. And then once I lined it up, I laid my arm sleeve flat like this. And then I took it, after sewing the front panel to the back panel, I sewed the arm sleeve down, okay, so that when it was sewn on, I had this sewn up and this part sewn up right here on the back part and the front part. And this part was not sewed up yet. This part was not. Okay, so when you create your sleeve panel, you will do just that. You will sew the front to the back panel. You will take your sleeve, fold it in half, line the corner of the sleeve up with the seam like I did, and you will essentially sew that way and sew this way. And then when you have done that, this is a long cardigan, so when I sewed up my cardigan down the side, I left a little opening there. So I sewed up you can sew all the way down if you want, like this. But I left the opening and I sewed up, 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 up. Okay. Now keep in mind, this part of the sleeve was still open. It was unsewed. So when I sewed up the cardigan, up the side of the cardigan, I then turned and sewed down the underside of the sleeve. Now, how I figured out what size sleeve I should have is I measured my arm, the thickest part of my arm. I measured it, okay, and mine was like 15 inches. So, because I wanted my sleeves to be loose and baggy, I added 3 more inches onto that. And you will basically just do the exact same pattern that you did for the back panel and the front panel. Now, I made my sleeves slouchy sleeves. I made it so that my sleeves are slouchy. Now, if you don't want slouchy sleeves, I would do less rows, okay? So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I did 36 rows, okay? So this last pink row is a 36th row. Now, if you don't want slouchy sleeves, depending on your arm length, because you're going to want to get the measurement of your arm length too. If I did not want slouchy sleeves, I probably would have cut this off to right about here or right about here. I probably would have just left that on there. Because keep in mind, this is probably going to come off your shoulder just a little bit. But I did these last 4 rows here because I like the slouchy sleeves. Now, when you make your sleeves and you do the pattern, you're going to want to decrease a little bit. Okay, so on my panel, I did the first 2 rows of my panel in the double crochet, just like I did with the front and back panels. And this, now when I got down to the 13th row, okay, 12, when I got down to this row here, the 13th row, the 2 double crochet rows, this first row here is where I decreased on every rows that had the double crochet. So on this one, on the first row, I decreased at each end. So I did 2 double crochets together. On this one, I decreased on the first row, 2 double crochets together. Same with this one, and same with this one. Now, it still left me quite a wide sleeve. So I went around and did 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, or I'm sorry, I did 1 row of just all single crochet. And then the next row, I did 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet together, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet together. And then I kind of felt like my sleeve was still just a little too wide. And I did the same thing in the next row. In the 3rd single crochet row, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet together, 2 single crochet. And I did that for 2 rows. And then I did 1 more row of the single crochet. And then I did this ribbing here, which like you use it for hats and to, for like cuffs or like borders or anything really. So then you can do that with your sleeve. All right. Or if you want, you could do a front and back post, cuff. So it doesn't have to be this kind. You could do front post, back post, front post, back post, and so on. And with this, okay, along the edge, the bottom, around, up, around the neck, up around the neck, and then back down the other side, you will do this same ribbing here. Whatever ribbing you choose. Okay. Now with mine, I plan to have a nice wide ribbing. Okay. So what I will be doing is $13 single crochet, which will leave me 12 single crochet to do the ribbing, because I'm going to make mine pretty wide. And I want that all the way around because on my cardigan, I want to be able to flip the collar. Okay? So that's what I do. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me go get my crochet hook and my yarn, and I'll be right back to show you how that's done. Okay, so now if this makes it easier for you, before you do any ribbing, you could do like a single crochet all the way around the border of your sweater. That is totally up to you, whatever skill level you're at, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But I'm going to start I went ahead and sewed the other panel onto my sweater. Okay, and I'm going to start right about the middle of this back panel here, the back part of the neck. And in order to do, I'm going to show you really quick how to do this ribbing here, because this is what you'll do on the cuffs of your sleeves and all the way down the edging of your sweater. So like I said, I want to start with 13 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me double count that. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so you're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and in each chain down you will single crochet. So let me bring this in a little closer. Okay, so single crochet all the way down this chain. It's kind of weird just having this chain hanging off your work, but it will all work out. So I'm just going to do that real quick. It's a little bit awkward at doing this first chain, but you'll be able to zoom right through it once you get a few rows in on this. Okay, so I'm doing my last single crochet here. Okay, so I'm going to go to this next stitch here, and I'm going to move that tail out of the way. Okay, so I can still see the chains right here. So I'm going to single crochet in, or I'm sorry, slip stitch into the next chain, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the next chain after that. So you're going to slip stitch 2 chains over. Okay, then you're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work, and this part here might seem like a stitch, but it's not. This is going to be your first stitch. And just to be sure, you can count them. So you're going to go into the back loop only, all the way down. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, if I can get it in there. And me personally, on this very last chain, I like to just do a full-blown single crochet through both the loops. I think it gives it a little more stability. Then you're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work and do it again. Back loop only, single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then one more, 12. And once you hit the last number that you choose to do your ribbing with, you will just slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, chain 1, and turn. And you'll start with this stitch here. You're going to crochet into the back loop, and you're going to crochet into the back loop in each one of your rows, except for the very last stitch if you want to do just a regular single crochet through both loops on the very last stitch. Or I should at least say on the very last stitch that's away from the collar. And now the last stitch will single crochet. Now on this part at the collar, I don't do a single crochet through the back loop. Only on this end here do I do that. So you're going to do this. You're going to do this all the way around, down the front. Okay, down, 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 because I made my cardigan long. And then across the bottom here. Now, if you want to, if you do your sweater this way, where it's got the slit in it, what I would do is just a single crochet at the edge. And you see how you have these 2 stitches here? I would just do a single crochet together, 2 single crochets together to make that 1 stitch, and then single crochet down the side, because you don't need the ribbon up through here. You just really need it along the bottoms, up around the collar, sorry, back down the bottom. And then if you do the slit, you'll just be cut off here at the slit, and you'll start with that ribbing again on the bottom part of your sweater. Now, it's really just that easy. It really is just that easy. So remember, the arm sleeve is going to be just like the rest of the sweater as far as the pattern is concerned. You're going to want to measure your arm, and then depending on how baggy, do 2 or 3 inches more than your arm measurement at the widest part. Be sure to do in multiples of 2, 2, 2, 2, and then once measure your chain up to the measurement that you got on your arm circumference. So like I said, I did 18 inches, so I chained 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, measured it. Say if my chain was 18 inches, once it reached 18 inches, I did 2 more chains and double crocheted into the 4th stitch from the hook. So, and then keep in mind that 1, 2, 3, 4, about, you could start with this row here and start your decrease in the first. You're always going to do your decreases on the first row of the 2 double crochet row. Okay, so you're going to do 2 double crochet together at this end and this end of your arm sleeve panel. Okay, so you'll decrease this row, you'll decrease this row, you'll decrease this row, you'll decrease this row, and so on. And then when your sleeve is as long as you want it, and you could hold it up to your arm and measure and to see how far down it goes on your arm. You're going to want to leave enough space to do a few more decreases and your ribbing here, which will be the same as what I just showed you. And if you like the size of your sleeve after you do the decreases in the double crochet rows, you could just leave it at that and do this ribbing. Or with mine, I did a single crochet row initially. Excuse me, my throat is just dry and scratchy. Okay, sorry, I had to pause because I got this tickle in my throat that was making me cough, and it just simply would not go away. Okay, so I did the row of single crochet, decreased 2 rows, and then another row of single crochet, and then I started on this ribbing. So with the decreased rows on the single crochet, I did a single crochet, and then single crochet 2 together, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet 2 together. And that's basically how I did this sweater. Now, if you want the sweater to be super loose and baggy, You can always, when you do the back panel, you can always add another 2 to 3 inches on. But just remember, you got to do the multiples of 2. You know, figure out how many inches wide you want it to be. Do the multiples of 2. I'm sorry, add about 2 or 3 inches onto that. Then do the multiples of 2 until you reach that measurement. Then add 2 more chains and do this pattern. And this pattern is in the first tutorial. I really didn't think that I needed to show that again, because you could always refer back to the first tutorial. But I really, in overthinking this, I'm just like, you know, I don't need to overthink it. Everyone's measurements are different. I could finish this up by showing them what I did, but that's not necessarily going to work for what you do. And I really want you, and I just want to show you the basics of this cardigan and the basic pattern so that you can be creative and do however you want. And as far as sewing these together, I just did this where I sewed it this way, and then I sewed it this way, and then I sewed it this way. You could do the whip stitch, you could do a single crochet to sew your pieces together. And this is how I did mine. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll probably, in my next video, when I show like acquisitions or finished objects or works in progress, I will show this sweater. I just simply need to make the other sleeve and do the remainder of my ribbing, and then it will be finished. But I wanted to hurry up and get this tutorial out so that if any of you had started on the sweater and completed the front and back panels, you won't have to wait too long to get the rest of the instructions for this. Anyway, I am so loving this. I love the idea of the slouchy sleeve. We see that in so many patterns for hats. Not so many with sweaters, but this slouchy sleeve, when I tried it on, oh my goodness, it just, the way it slouched, it was just really cool. And I just had so much loose fit in my arms, and there was just this, how do I say, like a comforty, homey, warm kind of feeling in the slouchiness of the sleeve. You know, sometimes you just try something on and it's just like, there's just that feel-good thing to it that you just always can't like really put a direct finger on, but you just know it's like, yes, this is me, you know. And so I did make my sleeve extra long because I wanted the slouchy sleeve. Anyway, I really hope that this all makes sense. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already know a lot of these things. You just need to apply it to this cardigan. But if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. If you need me to do a more clear tutorial on this cardigan, I could definitely do that for you. But it's all, you know, after the first part of the video, part 1, it's really just doing the same thing, you know, except with your sleeves. And then I showed you how to do this ribbing. So, and a lot of you know how to sew pieces together, but I explained that anyway. Anywho, again, if you have any questions, you could comment in the video comment section below. I hope that you really enjoy this. I hope it works out for you. Be creative. Enjoy the artistry of your work, the color palettes. You are an artist. You are a yarn painter. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can totally do this. Anyway, I've got a pocket shawl I'm going to be doing a tutorial on next. And I think you're really going to love it. Anyway, be unique, be amazing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.